have you guys had any updates on those people at the moment, or
no we don't know how many people are still missing or still unaccounted for or whatever, like, or how many people have died yet during any of this. So
it's horrific. Yeah. And how have you guys mentally been going with that kind of weighing down on you?
Got to do it.
Yeah,
it's been something every year for the last 5 years in this region, so you just got to keep going, man.
Yeah. And with the other floods that have happened or any other natural disasters, what is this like in comparison, this particular flood?
Nothing. There's no words. Literally nothing. Our family's been here forever since settlement, so this is fucked.
So the one that was kind of maybe the second worst to happen to this, what was that one like? Like, what were the waters like?
So the 1954, so our family's house out the road still there, didn't even reach the floorboards, and it reached the top of the roof. So and like we've seen flood after flood after flood in that home forever. There's nothing that compares to this one. 2.5 meters higher than ever before. I don't understand.
And what were the warnings like for the people in this region?
The same as it had always been. So on the Saturday, I actually went up to the coast with my best mate for a birthday, and on the way back, the river was almost at peaking point, and we all looked at each other and went, it's going to flood again. It's going to flood again. And then by Sunday, it was constant. Come Monday, everybody was in tears.
So did people wake up in these floods?
So Sunday they got evacuated.
They got this. He needs to load up with some of the stuff.
Yep.
Everybody move that way. Let's just move somewhere along.
Alright, this is gonna be like
okay, yes. When that room over there is a nice space for us.
I can't afford.
We can add it on the top, one after the other, and people can understand. It is not the best, but it's what it is. It's raw. It's what it is. Yeah. If you cut again, it's just then it makes keep going.
The video is still running.
So we've just had to move to the back of the distribution center from outside to the front to the back because there's just so much traffic coming in and out of victims gathering as much supplies as they can because these people have lost everything. So we're standing at the back of the evacuation distribution center now. So we'll just resume our conversation. But so in terms of the warnings, so
they woke up to them in their bed with the bed flooding. So they got evacuation orders on the Sunday night. Half the people that got them were asleep already. It was like an 8:30, 9 o'clock. I think they got evacuation orders. So some of my friends left at 12:30. Walked out of the house, and by 6 o'clock when they came back, they kayaked back to their house on a 2-story house that was chest high on the 2-story level. So from 8 o'clock we get a warning to evacuate, and by 6 o'clock in the morning the houses are literally 4 meters underwater. That's not an adequate enough time for anything.
I imagine a lot of elder people probably went to bed a lot earlier, may not have
don't even have phones to get the SES evacuation order alert. That's how we all get it, is by text. So
it's horrific. So those people, from what you guys have experienced and the people you've spoken to, when they woke up in this area, where did they go? What did they do?
Locals started rescuing them on boats. It honestly, if it wasn't for the everyday person who went and got in a boat to rescue the people, this would have been so much worse than what it was.
And so were they rescuing them from inside the houses, just pulling them out?
Out of roofs. Inside the houses, trees, wherever they were.
So just boats everywhere, volunteers. And at that point, no emergency services.
We had the SES, but no, we didn't have the SES. So I think like the whole COVID thing, and a bunch of people lost their jobs because of the mandates, we had none. So there was probably like maybe, I don't even know, but I'm going to say maybe 5 SES members in Lismore at the time.
5?
I don't know, don't quote me on that. We had people flown in, I think, that were based at the motel in Lismore near Roadrunner, and they were there to help. They had to be rescued because by 6 o'clock Monday morning, they were then on the roof as well. So the helpers that did get sent in to assist, were flooded.
So when the people were pulled out of these situations, when you guys first arrived here, what state were they in? Mentally, physically, like what?
Numb. Numb. That's the best. They could talk, but it was just like it's an everyday normal thing that's happened. So it's like everybody's numb.
And what about the kids and babies?
Have not really seen that many in Coraki, so I feel like a lot of them would have got taken to casino, but again, don't quote me, I've got no idea. I've seen like a handful of kids in Coraki, and this town is usually rampant with kids running around, so I don't know where they've all gone, but
yeah. So the follow-up from that, so you guys got here, what day would it have been?
Saturday. So the floods started in Lismore on the Monday. The Monday was the really bad event. By Wednesday, Coraki was inaccessible, and we couldn't get down here until Saturday. Tuesday it was inaccessible. Yeah, and we couldn't get down here till Saturday. And the waters have only just now started to reside. There's still streets that aren't accessible because there's water on the road still. It's just wetland down here now.
Yeah, so we've been trying to get out to those areas actually, and as of yesterday, they were still inaccessible, which is pretty concerning. Yeah. And from what we've been told, they haven't had much contact with any emergency services either. So, this is day 15 of the ordeal now. So it's pretty concerning. So from your guys' experience, when did the donations and the volunteers and everything start to really get their hands on deck?
Saturday. Saturday. As soon as we could get through to Coraki, everyone in casino was like, we're getting stuff, we're going to Coraki, we're here in the shops. And then we got down here and it was all hands on deck as soon as we got here. The coordinator of that day, who isn't anymore, delegated us to the family section, and then by Sunday we were running it.
So how did talk us through that transition of how you guys just rocked up random volunteers and now you're running the centres?
So the lady that was running it on a Saturday is a local primary school teacher who ended up being a racist and not letting the Indigenous kids come in and choose what they wanted to choose. She'd let the kids come in that she knew from school that she wanted, but this is an Indigenous community. We've got 3 missions around us. So the fire department physically had to remove her from the station. So I rocked up Sunday morning. The sergeant was on the phone and he locked eyes with me and threw me under the bus.
So did you just kind of step up? You're like, let's do this.
100%. This is where we grew up. I'm not going to sit down and let anyone else do it if there's no one else around to do it. I had to.
And what about you guys? Where have you been sleeping?
Traveling.
She's been going home. We live in Kyogle, but I've been going back to Mum's until I could finally get down to Evans Head when the road was clear. Tuesday or Wednesday I went down. I was able to get down there and stay at Evans.
And what about the people, the victims of the flood in this area? Do you know where a lot of them are sleeping or where they've gone?
They would have just gone to other mob. Ganella, Evans, Casino, Tabula maybe.
Just sleeping in the cars?
A lot of people were sleeping in their cars still, but then a lot of people, as soon as the roads opened, left. They would have just left and gone to their families that are in all these other little suburbs. Because Coraki was getting forgotten. Nobody cared. So.
And what's the response like today compared to when you first got here?
There's more organisation happening, but it's really chaotic. So today was our first meeting with everyone, all the big guys in charge. So we have the disaster recovery team, is that what they're called? We had the fireys up there, the police up there, council up there, and we all sat down and we fully had a big conversation on how to run this better, and they're here to assist us now. So today we've had trucks out the front clearing the debris that's been sitting there since over a week. What are we now? 7, 8, 9 days. People had been cleaning their houses out for, and the debris is just sitting there. So today we finally started getting it cleaned up. No help from the council to come and do it without us asking or anything. We've had millions of jobs put onto us that we are not trained for, but we've done it
every day.
So what does Coraki need, and then what do you guys need? We'll start with Coraki, or just this region in general. What is needed now?
Coraki needs more assistance, full stop, even when this is over, 100%. This was one of the hubs of the Northern Rivers, and it's just been it's been forgotten. We've lost our hospital 15 years ago, maybe 12, I don't know, years ago. We lost our hospital, which was the hospital that funds all of the small suburbs around here. So right now, there's no hospital in this situation. It's like, that's cool. They also demolished it, so then there's no evacuation hub for everybody. So everybody was living in their cars when it was flooded, because there was nowhere for them to go. Literally nowhere. They were in their car.
So what can people do outside of this region? What can they do to help, specifically here?
Right now, we just need more people coming cleaning out houses and going on the back roads and helping all those guys clean out their houses, because we haven't been able to access them. We need more hands on deck, really. We don't need any more donations right now. Like, there are a few things that we need, but we're sorting that out. But yeah, it's really more hands on deck at the moment, so we can figure out a better system and clean it up and get the community back and running.
And what services specifically, if people have a trade they can offer, what is really needed right now?
Sparkies, I don't know, what, carpenters, what are the other words? Them ones.
Plumbers.
All of you that have a trade.
All the traders, we need you.
How do you guys share the information in between you guys so far?
So it was really hard, really hard. So today is the first day that we've sat down and had a big conversation with everyone that's running these things. There was no service, no internet.
That there was service, but you couldn't call out, you couldn't connect with anyone, and it was really difficult.
4G, 5 bars, but you still couldn't call. Didn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So communication was really bad. But then Hoodie's Helpers actually donated a lot of walkie-talkies to us and the bunch of crews that were around, and that's been really helpful. But there's also been a lot of just nonsense on the walkie-talkies, which has made it really hard as well. But yeah, today's the first day that we've communicated properly with the higher ups and half on a plan. To give us another week, I think, and we might have a plan for Coraki.
So from what you've seen in your experience, how long do you think this is going to take to get to just a place of normality? Not to be fixed, but to get to just being a little bit normal again?
Months. It's what we discussed this morning. It's what they all said this morning, was months. So what we were discussing was it's not a short-term thing we're needing to focus on right now. Because I've done that first initial bit, we need to be thinking for the next 3 months.
And just have people constantly in and out, just rotating, volunteers, hands on deck, services, people offering their services for free. You know, it's a little bit of your time to change someone else's entire world. So it's really needed. And you guys, like, you've just been here every day. Like, how many hour days have you been working?
12 hours more. I don't know, the phone doesn't stop. Like, I'll be here at 8 and then I'm in bed by 12, but my phone's still going off until 3 o'clock. So
well, can we give you a hug?
yeah, thank you.
Because you are a beautiful human. It's a
Down
beautiful
at the
hug.
down at the Woodburn hub too.
Oh, you're so But I'm not even from here, and you guys, your story is so inspirational, and I am so proud of you both. And hopefully we can get some volunteers, some services, some urgent supplies out here. So if you can, please come. It would mean everything to these people. Generators, yes. Yeah, anything specifically that you're running short on?
Generators is...
Fuel,
yes, we do get donations of that, and we can get that supplied now that we're working with the disaster team. What was the other thing? Water. It's really hard to get water to the back roads because there's no water at the moment. I mean, they've got their water tanks, but they all went under as well. They can't drink that water, so we need to now get water out to them so they can gurney their houses out without using the flood water that's in their tanks. So that's also a mission.
I was going to switch spots. You deserve to be in the middle here. And just with the animal situation, can you give us a little? Have you guys got any idea about that situation?
Well, we're not part of the animal thing because that's a whole other situation. But we do have contacts with like the livestock organisations and animal welfare and vets. Mobile vets that are coming around, so we've got those services in place. It's just they are also swamped. The entire region is
literally swamped.
Literally swamped. It's wetlands now. So all of our tradespeople have either lost their homes, lives, or are helping other people and can't help that community. So we need everyone, like everyone.
It's a sensitive topic, but yeah,
Yeah.
the people who have passed away, do you have any intel on that?
Nothing.
Nothing. No
You
numbers.
just know that it's
The
happened?
last that I heard was 6, but there's no way. There's no way. There's absolutely no way it's only at 6. So don't know how many people are still missing. I know there's still people missing. I just have gotten no number of the amount at all.
And for those people, what can normal volunteers do? Because, you know, from my experience here, those people that are still cut off, the Army and NCS, I personally have not witnessed. We have done our best to get out to these areas. But what can normal volunteers do for these people? Did you have any ideas?
No, because I don't want them to risk their lives either, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I can't tell them to go out and save somebody because then I'm putting them at risk. So no,
Of course.
get our government to fucking help us more
Yeah.
and we'll be right.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and all your work that you're doing. You guys are beautiful people. It's so nice to meet people like you. Honestly, it restores your faith in humanity.
Thanks, darling.
No, thank you guys. Thank you.
What is your thing, Tia? We'll follow you because she does.
Look, we created it last night, this morning on the drive here.
I love it.
Okay,
I've
like,
got,
to be honest, we were helping doing rescues and passing food around to people that we couldn't have access to, and we fought our own car. But we.
That's exactly the issue.
Yeah, well, we got out of it.
So
Anyway.
I've got about 1,200 people that are following this story at the moment. We've got heaps of people starting to message in, starting to want to volunteer and help. So we decided to start an official platform to generate that kind of awareness.
And possibly work with the Barron Bay hostel, where they can have a lot of people, and they've been carrying people from there, and then they can have like bed to sleep that is cheap enough for the volunteers.
Yeah.
So
I
we'll
think
have a
we
chat
are
with
on a
them.
mission to try. I think the council is to try and get like Camp Canonia and stuff cleared out, which is like camps that kids would go to in like grade 5, 6 for temporary housing. But in Coraki at the moment, we've literally got nothing. We've got no plan for temporary housing. So all of these houses that have been flooded and the people are God knows where now, we've got no solution for them at this point. I think we've got caravans coming that have been donated by someone or the government, but there's no plan. There was a plan to maybe put the tent city down at the river, and I said, are you kidding?
So there's no money coming from the government to you at all?
From the government?
The government. Sorry.
Not personally to us, because we're just the volunteers, but we do now have some kind of assistance through the flood disaster recovery team. Sorry.
Okay,
Yeah,
no,
so
that's fine.
they can do all that stuff now that they've come to us today, but before now, no, not at all.
Okay, and do you, every time that you guys have flood, is there any money generated by the government to help
No,
people?
it's always donated. It's literally always, the Red Cross will sing out for donations, but then like in the fires in 2019, we didn't see a cent of the Red Cross money that they got, so there was a big thing about that. You could even look it up.
Oh, I have, yeah, I have.
They got a lot of money donated for the fires, and nobody's seen it.
Caravans from the fire.
And in tents from the fires.
And now I've lost their caravan.
Yeah, well, they could have, yeah. Even so, even if they haven't, there's now another 100,000 people that have no homes or whatever it is. So.
100,000?
I don't know.
Oh
Well,
my God.
I don't know.
No, but there's a lot.
We're waiting for the numbers here.
Well, this region actually has 307,000 people in the population. So if you look at the regions that have been affected, and if you look at the satellite images of the areas that were flooded, it's a vast majority of the region.
Yeah.
You know, so we're
Entire
talking
number is.
hundreds of thousands of people here. This is very, very serious. So I think people need to start realizing that this isn't, you know, a few suburbs and a few people that, you know, had a bit of a puddle. This is entire houses that were submerged. This is hundreds of thousands of people. This is pregnant women, mothers, babies, kids. Everyone matters, but there is so many people that have been affected here. You know, animal carcasses everywhere. It's horrific. Yeah. So we need to get people out here now and helping. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Right.
Good
So-
job. Good job,
We're
guys.
going to send, with your permission, to Johannes. He's running one of the local media. He really wants to get in the ground with these kind of regions because